And it looks like they're now in a horrible pinch is Atletico, as Moody now getting down from Divine. Like I said, the shooting range has quickly become uncorked, as Vard and NBS actually getting taken down in turn by McClutch. So Atletico not going down without a fight. Snake TC's got the fence line. Divine's on the high ground. C9 is in the C9 divot. And there's Botulant still snaking away, crawling around, the last man standing from Na'Vi, as Divine has the high ground, but they keep exposing themselves to all sides. Jet continuing to receive pressure as Vard will go down to the zone. And like I said, this shooting range is about to just be a big mass. Yeah, this is a crazy fight happening here on the edge of the circle. So many teams piled up on top of each other. It looks like Moody is getting the upper hand on all of Snake TC. A lot of kills in the kill feed, as K-Mine and the rest of C9 is trying to hold this border, as Divine is going to go for a full press down the hill. NBS, the last man standing from NIP. It is Cloud9 picking up a ton of kills on the edge of the zone, one after the other, and Divine will take down and finish NBS, as Na'Vi and NIP are both finished off. And now Divine throwing nades downhill. Moody will go down first. K-Mine and Nerf now having to react. The AK getting up close, the K9. Ooh. K-Mine just moving up the side. Divine, I think, has the advantage here. This is now not looking good for Cloud9. They're just pushing this top side of the hill. Now Nerf, the last man standing. He's going to have to back off and prone just to try and save a little bit of time, but Nerf will be finished off. And just like that, Divine, in one fell swoop, takes down all of Cloud9 and cleans up the shooting range side with 7 kills.
This was the overwhelm that Cloud9 should have been worried about the entire time. They did a good job gatekeeping the western side, but oh, they let someone slip through. McClutch actually came out of shooting range. Divine haven't spotted him just yet. It's only going to be a matter of seconds if they're not so focused on getting inside the circle. He just needs to stay quiet. But Divine, a very good job just pushing up from that hill. I'm honestly surprised that no one else tried to take that hill from them.
Well, I mean, I think it was just their control. They came in from that northern side, kind of slow and quiet. Everyone rotated around the southern portion of the shooting range. McClutch having to hold his breath a little bit. He doesn't have much distance to cover to get to the zone, but he has all of Divine all around him.
Your bodyguards.
And just like that, we move over to M19, finding themselves tangled up with FaZe. Fuzzface backing it off a little bit, throwing the defensive nade. In return, is it a smoke? Is it a regular frag? I guess we'll find out. Looks like it was a frag grenade. 8C going down to Drayden on the high side by the shelter. They having still OMG in the shelter behind them, as M19 having to back off a little bit as the Knights getting involved. And FaZe is in a precarious position here in the low ground. I believe they finished the res, so they're still 4 strong. I'm not entirely sure if OMG is still underneath them or what's exactly happening here. They have to be, right?
They are. I don't know why they're not trying to pressure Knights, though, because if they tried to attack from below, Knights would be caught between 2 edges, the above ground third partying and then OMG right below them, but OMG are too scared to go on that aggressive, or they're comfortable just letting the Knights basically be their bodyguards and wait for them to deal with everything. But there we go.
We lost McClutch. We lost him. He did get one down and no finish, but FaZe is still defending against the Knights. Shadow in his shack, having been there for quite some time now, not having to do too much, as Yempty will take down Texas. So now it's a bit of a war of attrition here, Cameron.
You can see some third-party action from Divine, who've been able to push down, as you see on the mini-map, but there we go.
Oh my god! The Knights don't seem to care that much about the fact that OMG is just living in their hut. So there's 2 down here. This is a problem for the Knights. How did they let this happen? What is happening? Oh my god, OMG is coming out of the hole and they're destroying the Knights. How did you let this happen to you? OMG has been down here for so long and they pop up and take down 3 from the Knights.
I mean, maybe the OMG they didn't do anything for so long. Knights
just forgot about them?
Yeah, I forgot about them. They're like, well, I guess they're never going to attack. We have too much distracting us on this from the north of us. But you need at least one person watching that way, or like a consistent smoke there if you have the resources to utilize. And that just decimates the Knights. They were already taking so much damage. And this gives a really good opportunity for Divine to push in, because Knights were their biggest threat, trying to push in from the western side. Other than, of course, M19 and FaZe, the long distance, or Krema.
No, dude. This is horrible for the Knights and the mole people. OMG have to come out from the sewers and are just wreaking havoc on the Pittsburgh Knights, with Krema just desperately holding on. This has got to be frustrating for them, as they just lost track of what was happening, I imagine. We saw them fighting earlier, and OMG hasn't moved that much. So an unfortunate start. Maybe the Oh, here we go. Let's go, Kramer. He's kind of stuck on the edge as an unfortunate turn of events for the Knights just goes really far south. Clouds will be rezzed as the Knights are finished off by the men from underground, OMG, and Divine have, in your acute opinion, have taken a great position up at the top of this hill now. OMG is basically stuck down there. They've got some loot, Cameron, but FaZe battling here on the open fields.
FaZe should be doing a lot more damage across the zone if it weren't for M19, and they're having just to trade blows back and forth. Mixie lost his helmet, still has a vest, which is very rare this late into the game.
So this is now going to be a matter of movement here as FaZe taking a lot of punches, a lot of damage on there, and M19 slowly trying to crawl it in. This is looking good for Divine. They do have a significant gear advantage, and they have position in the zone. Good map control as well. Not a lot of cover to work with. OMG picking up some much-needed supplies from the down Knights players. But it looks like Divine is going to have to just crawl their way along the low side of this ridge. Ooh, barely dodging. We've seen that. That Scoom just has PTSD somewhere right now. Empty vehicles rolling across fields. But that's looks like no one is going to get wiped from that in a embarrassing fashion. So
still crawling in.
And just crawling it in. I mean, Divine with 8 total kills.
Because they still, even though they don't have a lot of good position from this spot, the fact that they still have 4 up, under the assumption that FaZe and M19 are going to deal some damage to each other, trying to leave that spot, they are in a position to get a good high placement, if not the win. And it's all dependent on who these other teams on this edge, if they're going to impact each other that much or not. M19, they want to spread a little bit away from FaZe. They don't want to commit too much to that engagement. And especially because the next circle has swung down to the south, it puts them in a spot to actually punish FaZe if FaZe rotate through them.
Will Divine use this car, I wonder? I mean, they have a UAZ there. They can kind of roll into this field.
Divine are in the circle. They're on the edge, but they're in the circle.
So they have cover. I mean, it's there. There's not a lot of it, but really they have a decent line of sight. If FaZe continues to push forward just like that, Levis with a very nice reaction time there, just trying to put some shots onto FaZe, who have been battered so far. M19 on the parallel flank there. OMG a little bit above them, and it looks like FaZe is going to take it first to M19, taking down and finishing example. And just like that, Yempty's actually taken a very aggressive position in the zone here, leaving Fuzzface behind with Mixie. And he's we've seen this in the past from FaZe, where they'll have one guy on a super wide flank, and when M19 feels like they can maybe put some pressure, Yempty will pop up and do something here. But MMLS is taking down and finishing Mixie in the back line. This is actually looking pretty good for OMG, considering the fact that they've spent most of this game underground. This is a very tough position here for FaZe. Fuzzface is getting peppered from all sides. Shadow has emerged from his shack, immediately being met by M19. Yempty will finish him off, and Tuons will take down Shadow. Fuzzface, the last man standing, will actually take some shots, maybe just sneaking away. It's actually OMG finishing M19 at long distance. Fuzzface getting the final kill there. And just like that, we're down to the top 3. OMG getting sprayed down by Divine. This is looking good for Divine with 4 strong and 9 kills. They've got total map control, and they've got the zone as well, as this is the final circle. Divine having almost no opposition so far as MMLS goes down to the zone. FaZe scattered to the wind, and this is looking like Divine's game.
Fuzzface is getting the revive on Gempty, so that gives them 2 people to continue to fight this. But you can look on the minimap. Divine have 2 people right on their position.
Yep.
And FaZe, it looks like they're so preoccupied with OMG, who have been really loud but stuck in that single spot. Divine this whole time, though.
They got 2 reses, too, there, did OMG.
OMG, yeah, they're still 3 up, but this entire time, Divine, they're going on their own pincer maneuver that FaZe did to win out last game, and Jet dropping XXB again.
I was going to say, if Divine doesn't try and finish off FaZe, the Bush Hunter is going. Now only Yempty left standing, and it will be Divine finishing off FaZe, securing 2nd place. And this is looking all Divine all the time, as OMG is trying desperately to survive, but it's just not going to happen. Divine Esports take game number 2 with 14 total kills. Terrific game from Divine, but really for OMG, after being trapped underground for the entirety of that game, coming out and finishing off the Knights, that was a very nice 2nd place.